Why am I here? You know, this is Tranmere Rovers playing Barcelona in the Nou Camp. Forget it. Pass.
Which brilliant bluish-white star is almost overhead in Britain during summer evenings?
There was a question, for instance, on Messier 31, which is a very famous galaxy. Messier 31, it's one of these galaxies that they always use pictures of in Star Trek when they're trying to show you something weird and something alien. And I'd read up about Messier and his discoveries just to refresh my mind. But when the time came and the question was asked, which particular constellation is it in? Something in my mind just popped and I said, Ursa Minor.
No, it's Andromeda. What is the name?
I think everybody who's got any interest in astronomy knows that.
And by the halfway through, I was asked the name of a dwarf in Cézanne's paintings, and I was in such a state I felt like saying, "Who's Cézanne?" You know, it literally was as bad as that.
What was the name of the dwarf in Cézanne's painting submitted to the Salon in 1870?
Pass. The post-spiral is it's an almost automatic reaction. You're worrying about the previous question so much that you can't even think of what you've just been asked. So you say pass. And then you think, damn, I knew that answer. And then it just seems to get a grip on you and you just keep on doing it. Pass.
In Gauguin's painting entitled I Orana Maria, or Ave Maria, in what unusual pose does he show the Christ child?
Pass.
Who was the curate who first identified the leaf warblers by their songs?
Pass.
Where did David Lack do his classic field study of the robin?
Pass.
Where was the first British bird observatory established? Who is the author of Maiden's Trip, describing Second World War boating service by women? Pass.
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 Pass. You're nearly there.
Well, Churchill's friend, Brendan. Brendan, I don't know, pass.
What is a
I felt that any minute my head was going to go whizzing across the room as though I'd been guillotined, and the only way I could close was by putting my hand up and trying to hold it back on again.
No.
What I was concentrating on, quite frankly, was not faint in front of the cameras, because I was feeling very hot with all lights, I was feeling very sick, very dizzy, and all I had to do was just try and keep conscious, even if I couldn't keep compos mentis, until they'd finished with me.
You think, I know I'm going to be last. Can I dress it up mentally as just being fourth?
And in fourth place with 12 points is R4 Wynne Hughes. In third place with 22 points...
It doesn't sink in at the time. You literally just don't believe it's happening. And then this charming young girl came to me at the end and said, how does it feel to have done so badly?
Mind on 28 points.
And I thought, my God, I have done badly.
Hilary Forrest.
I'd watched people from my armchair at home thinking, why on earth are those people doing this program? They don't know anything. Well, I consider that I knew most of my subject, that I turned out to be one of those people. When the program was actually shown in January, my wife had she'd invited a few friends around for a drink. And I thought, oh, there'll be somebody sympathetic to a shoulder to cry on. But it turned out to be the whole quiz team from my local pub. All our friends and neighbours, and 2 Spanish friends were staying with us. The local evening news photographer, and the house was filled with helium balloons marked pass. And because the children at school were quite merciless, I could walk down this corridor and I'd hear this terrible tune being hummed behind me, the Mastermind theme. And then I'd ask them questions in the art room, and I would get pass and a little snigger as an answer.
The quotation, tomorrow to fresh fields and pastures new, from Milton's Lycidas, is a misquotation because it actually should be tomorrow to fresh woods and pastures new. It was the volcano Helgafell, or Helgafell, that caused the damage in the Westman Islands. The capital of Malawi is Zomba. The vernacular language of Luxembourg, you'll be astonished to hear, is Luxembourgish. And, oh, you got the statue of Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens, of course you did.
By the end of the second round, I'd caught up on points of general knowledge I'd lost or thrown away on the ornithology, and finished joint third. So every time people say, what happened to you, I say, I was knocked out by 3 other contestants and a wardrobe door.
I'd be quite happy to go into television quizzes again, but I think at that stage maybe the Corinthian ethos isn't there anymore. If I'm going to be under that sort of pressure, I think I'd like to do it for money the next time.
Your score has gone up to 35 points and no passes. Thank you.
Later tonight, the history of TV hell from A to Z. Top TV execs confess all. Followed by John Peel's Rock Bottom, the most complete cacophony of nauseous love songs and irritating novelty pops ever transmitted. Thespian Nicholas Craig reveals how to make it big in medieval period drama. Bring Your Own Codpiece. Then at 10:10, a film that unleashes over 30 years of the Eurovision Song Contest. Danny Baker uncovers the dark underbelly of TV chat shows. At 11:15, there's Executive Hell, in a documentary that traces the fortunes of TVAM.
I think history will expose those who've been most treacherous.
Would you lace my shoe?
Anything.
Finally, politicians, newscasters and boxers sing and dance badly in trading places.
Timbuktu.
I'm back again.
That's TV hell. Switch over, or you'll regret it for the rest of eternity.
Sorry about that. Just been putting the final touches to a soap opera in the south of Spain. Here, present. So, you comfortable?
No, not really.
Good. Now, one of the reasons that you were selected for TV Hell was because your QT was so uniquely low.
My what?
Your QT, quality threshold. It was a concept I introduced 1 or 2 years ago, just to bugger up the franchises. You see, only by gauging your reactions as a viewer can we work out precisely how much worse to make the programmes in the future.
Well, anything I can do to help, naturally, you know.
Good, but if you'd like to lean back in this electric chair.
It won't hurt, will it?
Of course it won't hurt, you're dead.
I keep forgetting.
Yes, that's one of the side effects you'll find. If you'd just like to put these on.
What is it, a Walkman?
Yes, sort of. Only instead of playing you mood music, we're going to be sending 50,000 volts of electricity through your head. Don't worry if you start hallucinating slightly.
It's a Knockout was first transmitted in August 1966. A year later, it went pan-European with Jeux sans frontières. In all, the program ran for 16 years. Regional teams would compete against the clock in a variety of games. In a single run, these games made use of 3,250 gallons of water, 500 feet of bungee rope, and latterly, with the introduction of color, 900 balloons. If the contestants were lucky, they had fine weather. On the whole, they weren't.
Now on BBC One from New Brighton, the first in a new season of its, a new season of Jeux sans... Now on BBC One, a new season of It's a Jeu. Now on BBC One, a season of Knockout Jeux sans... Now on BBC One,
New Brighton, the first in a new season of It's a Knockout, a competition of skill and strength between towns in England, Scotland and Wales.
And welcome to a rather damp Swansea for round 2 of It's a Knockout 75! There's a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted all the voyage of their lives, are bound in shallows and in misery. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current as it serves or lose our several ventures. Croeso e Cymru!
Tan Elian Banin Cyffail Charu, which is my... Get off!
Well, welcome to Beamish Barker. What a marvellous... All right. Well, this is one of your favourite parts of the world, isn't it, Ed?
It is indeed. It's a lovely part of the country.
And now, who's the second team?
We've got concert. So, thank you very much. Concert, we've got the second team.
Then it's only to go. Wait a minute, the third team is Darlington.
Our two official guests will be keeping an eye on the whole situation. There's Plymouth versus Torbay match in knockout, plus, of course, the unofficial guests, but the very welcome ones, the Cheer Girls. Well, those are the girls we hope we'll be seeing a lot of this afternoon. They're certain to warm us up because we really need it. We're very wet indeed.
And it's starting to rain yet again.
Hey, can I have an umbrella? Do you mind, Mike? Sorry, let's have it over here.
Oh, very kind.
Okay.
Now, you take my umbrella and leave me in the pouring rain.
Looking down across the Plymouth Hoe, swept by rain, I could just about see down at the bottom the master scoreboard, and down there is Rita Morris, who will keep an eye on all the points and everything else for us. So we are ready to go. And here we go with game number 1 in Plymouth versus Torbay. This game is the beach ball handicap. We've got 4 girls, beautifully attired, as you can see. They've got 3 balls in between them. They're carrying one each.
And the idea is this big ball has got to be transported down the course in the big knockout net. And they're on big skis, enormous knockout skis. And on the whistle, their job is to
come down and get some of that pace. Also on the turntable are squares of black paper and squares of white paper. One team, the team on my right, are going to
stack these cans, one on top of the other. And it's very, very simple. The boys have to roll the drums down the course, bursting balloons as they go.
Anyway, I think there's one other thing. Oh, yes, that the hose is not attached in one line. It has 4 pieces, and 4 pieces are held by the different members of the teams. We're going to see any moment now what will happen. But first of all, we've got our resident referee, Eddie Waring. Are you there? With his assistant, Pat Taylor. Come on in, Eddie.
Hello, Katie. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, we've nearly got Wembley weather, but it's cleared up. And last year they complained they couldn't hear my whistle often, but they'll hear this when I start it, I'm sure.
I know we will.
So I'm ready to start if you are.
You are? Right,
yes?
off you go then.
All right. Get set.
And that's it. The rivers of Greece.
And that enthusiastic crowd in the background, they really are, despite the weather. They've got supporters here who've travelled up from Torbay, plus the home team as well. Even the rain can't keep them off. And to the end of the course, and now back again.
A great crowd here today. In our 11th year of It's a Knockout, a tremendous crowd. Very enthusiastic. How many are they in trouble, are they?
Very difficult, and it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. Please don't try this. If any of the children are watching, or any of you a bit older are watching, don't try it. It is dangerous. Every precaution is taken here. We've got...
I wouldn't bother with